It is 6:33 p.m. on March 11th, 2026. I am going to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Manor. We are gathered at 301 East Eggleston Street in the Manor City Council chambers. I am Chair Jeffrey Stensland, and we have a quorum present. Couple quick housekeeping notes before we get started. Items 2 and 7 have been pulled from tonight's agenda. They will be reposted on the April Planning and Zoning Commission, so look for that next month. Additionally, item 9 will be postponed until the April Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We will hold item 4, which is related to item 9, and we will keep that public hearing open tonight. That is the one related to Manor Heights preliminary plat for phases 7 and 8. With that, we will. Yes, I will. So items 2 and 7 are pulled from this agenda. They will be heard next month, as well as item 9. Item 4 will be heard. We will have the public hearing tonight. We'll keep the public hearing open, so that way those who want to speak can speak on that, and then it'll be discussed as a business item next month. Welcome. With that, I will begin with any one. I don't have any white cards, so we will not do any white cards. I will call up for folks on the items as you sign up to speak. Those who, where's my notes? I always forget all the words that we have to say. So I have yellow cards, and the yellow cards are for people who want to make comments on items on the agenda. So items on the agenda items can be any public comments. Okay, so I will read this. It'll say comments will be taken from the audience on non-agenda and agenda-related items, combined for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes, or total per person on all items except for the public hearing items. Those public hearings will be held when the item is called, with a maximum of 2 minutes per person. No action or discussion may be taken during public comments on non-agenda items. So I will do that now. We will start with Mr. Battle. You are signed up to speak on items on item 1. We'll go into. I'm going to open the public hearing for item 1.
I'm signed up for public comments.
I don't have a white card from you, sir.
The yellow is for both.
The white card is for non-agenda public comments. Excuse me. So the white card is for non-agenda public items. You want to speak? You want to speak on up to 5 minutes on? You want to speak up to 3 minutes right now on non-agenda items?
Here's the way it works.
Oh, you're going to tell me. Please tell me how. Step into the mic. Please step into the microphone, Mr. Battle.
Start my time yet. I'm trying to explain how.
No, please explain to me what your interpretation is, and we'll see where we go. Your interpretation of the order of this meeting that I'm chairing. The order of the meeting. Please explain, and then we'll proceed with.
You have 3 minutes for public comment, and then you have 2 minutes for all the other agenda items put together. And then separate from that, you have 2 minutes on every public hearing. Why is this complicated?
All right. So you would like to have 3 minutes now.
No, I get 3 minutes now and 2 minutes for all the other agenda items right now.
Okay.
What's ridiculous about it?
All right.
And by the way, Austin City Council tried to do this. It got thrown out as being unconstitutional.
And I covered them for 10 years, and I appreciated when they called things up in a timely manner. So I will give you 5 minutes, and your time will start when your comments begin.
Thank you very much. My name's Robert Battle. I also have a Facebook group page called Manor Community Coalition. And also I have recently restarted the Manor Messenger newspaper. That was the newspaper from going back to 1891. We really need 2 newspapers because the Manor Journal is owned and run by the city. They never print the truth about anything. I'm still wondering why Scott Dunlap is sitting on the dais. He's a city employee. I think he should be sitting out here. It confuses him and it confuses you guys. You guys need to wean yourself off of Scott Dunlap and become a commission and not his personal little committee. And another thing, you guys need to start getting some money. 4 hours a week for planning and zoning is nowhere near what we need. I think you guys should make at least $1,000 a month. You're the only thing that stands between us and the city council, who is a bunch of really very low on my list. Now, for one, the comprehensive plan is complete hogwash, and you need to rescind it. The dashboards, those little forms with the dots on them, people were not asked about that. That's Freese and Knuckleheads, the consultants. They came up with that bunch of scheme. This street out here is not a commercial corridor. We don't want trucks on it. This is our historic center of our town. I call it Manor Village. And I would appreciate if you guys stop calling it downtown, start calling it Manor Village. We have a new downtown that's kind of by Bois d'Arc. Now, this idea of you getting paid, that needs to be in the Charter Review Commission report. You guys really need to be proactive on that. That's 7 meetings done in complete and absolute secrecy. Saturday, they're doing another secret workshop off the record. They did a secret workshop at the Wilhelmina Delco Center, and I filed a citizen complaint. It's a misdemeanor C violation. But guess what? The city attorneys, since they're in bed with everybody, they never bring the complaints to the court. The court complaints never get docketed, and now this jerky judge we have, Caballero, he's not even accepting any complaints anymore. That's just a complete and absolute violation. When a citizen cannot get to the court, that's ridiculous. Okay, so I'd really like to see you guys start being proactive about everything. You know, it's not enough just to stop, I mean, do you not go home and think about stuff we could do to improve our city? I mean, that never occurs. You guys are just reactive. We need you to be proactive. We have $100 million. We don't even have one ping pong table in. The parks are completely joke. It's a joke. You guys are supposed to be planning and zoning. We don't have a planning department anymore. They've changed to development services. Maybe that's a problem. We need to plan before we develop. How much time, sir?
90 seconds.
Thank you. Okay. We had a death in the neighborhood. My friend Donald McVeigh got murdered in his house by the cemetery. And the city has not even mentioned it. Not one word in the newspaper. What is with that? Do we really think there's a killer on the loose? Or, well, it's okay. He probably won't come back. Where's the police on this? It's just incredible. All right, let's see if I can figure out something else before we get to the holding things. Yeah, we've got to really, get the city secretary in gear, because I keep getting stuff that has no detail whatsoever. The Manor Apartments, the view at Manor Crossing, I got stuff from the Development Services. It just was a receipt for $160,000 or something. No detail whatsoever. I want those to start saying how many houses, how many in lieu fees, how many acres, how much development funds. And we need to start doing, can we try at least aspire to A+ instead of D-? Seriously, let's try to aspire to greatness. I know we've been calling ourselves a regional leader with exceptional services. What a bunch of baloney.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Your
you.
time has expired. All right, that is public comment. We will now move into a public hearing. I will open a public hearing on a short form final plat for the Cottonwood subdivision. This is on one lot of 5.565 acres, more or less, and being TCAD parcel 236976, also known as 143 East US Highway 290 in Manor. LRG Engineering is here. We have a representative here on available if they'd like to, but they are for questions. It's Lauren Rain. Mr. Battle, you have 2 minutes on this item. Robert Battle is also signed up to speak on this.
Pardon me?
Saying into the record, Robert Battle is also signed up to speak on this item. So that's you. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, my name's Robert Battle. This one, I'm mainly concerned about the fact of we have no idea whatsoever what the developer plans to do with this. So we're supposed to plat something, but it would be nice to know if it's going to be a hotel. Is it going to be 25 houses? Is it going to be whatever? And also, on the form, there's only one spot to like or dislike something. But what if you like this one and you don't like that one? You like this one? The form is utterly useless as regards that. So I would appreciate if we could get the builder to tell us what they're planning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Battle. Commissioners, Lauren Rain is here to address if you have any questions. And staff, do you want to provide a brief summary on the public hearing that we are having?
Sure. So this plat, it is a one-lot subdivision. It is under standard review. So when you get to the action item, there are some engineering comments for you to provide to deny based on. But it is just a one-lot commercial subdivision. The property was zoned C2, and they did receive a specific use permit to allow for medical offices. So that's likely what would be there when development occurs. But right now, it has C2 medium commercial zoning. So anything that's permitted by right under C2 would be allowed.
Thank you. That is all the speakers we have for this item. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing number 1.
I have a motion from Commissioner Pies to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second from Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion of the motion? No discussion. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Passes 5-0. All right. Item 2 is to conduct a public hearing on a short form final. We pulled that item from this agenda. Moving on to item 3. Conduct a public hearing on a short form final plat of a replat, because we love those, of Lot 14, Block F, Phase 2, Lago subdivision, being 2 lots on 3.612 acres of land, more or less, and being located near the intersection of FM 973 and Brenham Street in Maynard, Texas. Mr. Battle is signed up on this item. You have 2 minutes, sir, when you begin speaking.
Thank you, sir. My name's Robert Battle. Pretty much the same question here. What are we planning to do here, and what really was the purpose for joining these 2 lots? Is it going to be our 55th convenience store, or is it going to be a restaurant or high-rise hotel? Khalifa Burga, tallest building in the world. That's all. And I really think the process can be more illuminative, so to speak, to people if we kind of include this in to our process from the get-go. They need to say why they're combined. A lot of times these developers, all they want to do is flip these properties. They come here and pretend they give a crap about our city, and then they flip it and they're long gone. So that would be my question. Appreciate if the owner developer can tell us that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Battle. That's all the speakers I have on this item.
I make a motion that we close item number 3.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Mendoza to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Do we got to hear from city before?
You don't have to. You want any questions for city about this replat?
No.
About this plat?
I have a question.
Go for it.
Are we combining 2 lots or are we dividing?
Separating.
It's splitting. It's going from one 3.6 acre property to 2 lots at 2.3 and 1.3 acres.
Thank you. And I believe this is related to item 8 on the agenda. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, commissioners?
I move that we close the public hearing.
All right, I will entertain a new motion. A motion from Commissioner Meyer to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Pies. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. We will now move on to item 4. Sorry, I'm taking notes in real time. This is for Anne Marie later, when she has to do all this. Conduct a public hearing on a subdivision final preliminary plat for Manor Heights phases 7 and 8, being 272 lots on 72.33 acres more or less, and being TCAD parcels 248121 and 993489, also known as also known as 13354 and 13358 Old Cranbrook Road, Manor, Texas. Now, I'm opening the public hearing, but I'm also wondering, would it behoove the public to hear from staff briefly on this before we hear comments? Is that okay? Staff, a brief summary of what this is.
Sure. So this is for phases 7 and 8 of Manor Heights or Carillon. So since the project's conception, these properties were contemplated as being added into the neighborhood. And so that has happened. And then last year in June, the PUD for the zoning for the project, the neighborhood was updated to provide the zoning entitlements for these two 35-acre tracts. And that concept plan was updated. So this is the preliminary plat. It does have 260 residential lots, I believe 11 open space drainage lots, and then a city parkland lot. It does include the extension of Liberty Bell to the north of the neighborhood, which would eventually connect up to Bodart. And this one related to the action item and the request for postponement to April. After posting, there's some items related to the street width that we have to look at. So, we're going to be recommending that it be postponed so they can resolve a couple items of the next month and have this back for you next month. Yes, if you have any additional questions, be happy to answer them.
Will do. Alrighty, I will call our first speaker, Mr. Battle. You have 2 minutes when you begin speaking.
Thank you. My name's Robert Battle, and this is really a disappointment. This whole subdivision is a disappointment, and I can't believe that we're still sitting here trying to pretend that floodplain is actually parkland. That upper right corner, are you able to bring up that map? Oh, there it is. That upper right corner there, that blue line, that's the FEMA floodplain. That right part they call park is not a parkland. Also in section 4, I don't know if you can quite see it there. Section 4, they said they had 15.25 acres. It's a water retention pond. You guys know a water retention pond doesn't count as parkland. Basically, these people started out with 1,395 homes. In the old days, it was $550 a lot. That's $767,000 that should be in our parkland in lieu fees. So I would appreciate that. Who's gonna get? Am I gonna have to go to court to get this, or maybe you guys can do it? You need to halt this right on its tracks, and you need to go back and look to the very start of this development, and you need to take another hard look at the parkland and the in lieu fees. And it'd be nice to hear from the current development services people. What is the fee now? How many houses is it for? Because it's been changed half a dozen times, and development people don't seem to understand. Their job is to get as absolutely much parkland for our kids as they can. And when you think you found it all, you go find some more. And then you find some money. And then you start filling it with things for our kids to do and stop shoveling money at all these developers. So my challenge to you is to halt this immediately. Of course, it's postponed, so it doesn't matter. But you need to go back and look at this. My question would be, do I have to file something in court to get that done? Or can you guys do your job? That's something planning and zoning should do. You go back, you take a look at this subdivision, and you see what a bunch of ripoff they've done.
Thank you so much, Mr. Battle.
Thank you.
Time is expired. Mr. Kevin Phelps, you have 2 minutes, and your time will begin when you begin speaking.
I'm Kevin Phelps, and I live at 14121 Moroni Cove in the subdivision over here at Carillon. And we've basically been lied to about the floodplains, a lot about what Mr. Battle said, but that we've been lied to about the floodplains, and that the developer has done is not a trustworthy partner in this development. That we were promised by we bought a Chesmar home, and it was developed by 4-Star, and our lot was in the floodplain, and they never disclosed that. And I'm also a real estate broker. I've been doing it for decades. And I had sold another home in Carillon, and his entire home was in the floodplain. And what I suspect they were doing was just waiting for FEMA to change it out of the floodplain, but then that took longer than it was supposed to. And so they finally had to disclose to us. And as a real estate broker, if you fail to disclose about a property being in the floodplain, you can lose your license overnight about that. Take it to the Texas Real Estate Commission, file a complaint, and you're done. And that's exactly what they did to me on my own personal home that I bought, and the home that I sold to another guy that's living in Carillon. So on this particular parcel that they're proposing developing, there's a lot of problems with the floodplain. And there's floodplain coming in between my neighbors' homes. There's 3 of us here, and we all live, contiguously. And we were also promised that they weren't going to be building back there, and we all paid premiums for our lots for that not to happen. When now we're looking at having a lot of homes built right behind our home, and of course it's going to spoil the view. Of course it's going to affect the floodplain. Of course it's going to affect traffic. Of course it's going to affect a lot of things. And so this is a very problematic tract. And I would be very careful about the promises that those guys make to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Lawson Fernando, you have 2 minutes, and your time will begin when you begin speaking. For your reference, do you mind showing, because we're talking about 2 different phases here, 7 and 8, 7 on the bottom, 8 on top, I believe. Do you mind referencing us? So just let us know which section you're talking about when you start.
If you could zoom in on page 8, that would be great too, a little.
Okay.
The computer.
Huh?
No worries.
Pardon?
If it's too complicated, I can.
Yeah, you can zoom. Yeah, yeah. I'm a cool dad. Remember. Remember Mean Girls? Yeah.
That's great. Hi, I'm Lasat Fernando at 14116 Moroni Cove, and I'm here to speak about the Phase 8, and I would request that you deny this item and request an amendment removing Block G, which is the most on the east, on the east side of that, for a couple of reasons. The primary being flooding. There is nowhere near enough drainage for the houses that we already have there. And we did have an opportunity to meet with Kimberly Hahn's engineer, Sarah. She was very nice, and she explained that it happened because the builders did not grade our lots the way they envisioned it, which it makes sense as an explanation, but it also gives nothing to prevent that from happening again, right? There's another set of developers another set of builders that they don't control. Same thing could happen there again. They said that they're also going to widen the creek a little bit to improve the drainage, which might alleviate some of the current problems we have, but nowhere enough if they start adding more houses right there. And then for Phase 8 itself, right, Liberty Bell Boulevard is meant to be like a 45-mile-an-hour road, right? And they are proposing like 3 blocks entering directly into that right next to each other, which is like more than the entirety of Phase 3 of like that east block, which is a much, much bigger thing of the amount of houses, right? It would make a lot more sense once they remove Block G to make it so that there's one full break in the median and entering into there, and then having an egress somewhere to the south to like Blumenthal Street or something, because that will have a much less of an impact on morning chock-a-block traffic and will give those poor people an exit if, for example, there's an obstruction on Liberty Bell Boulevard right now. They're kind of stuck, right? All 3 exits from there go straight to it, and it's a dead end up north, right? And the last reason being is that, yes, as Kevin mentioned, we paid a premium for these lots that were through a variety of chains of release of liability, was promised to not have back neighbors, and they are now planning to continue their plans to essentially screw us over. I would much rather go with what Mr. Patel said, with where we can have some parkland that is not in a floodplain, that's real parkland over there. And you commission have the power to save the community, and I would ask you to exercise it.
All right, thank you. Dr. Rotman, I believe it's Martin Rotman. All right, I'll keep that for the record. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening,
Time will start.
commissioners. My name is Martin Rotman. I'm also a homeowner here in Moroni Cove, and the proposed Fetterman Court over there development, which is part of Manor Heights. Phase 8 would be directly behind our lots. So I'm here to raise a serious concern about that flooding that my neighbors have mentioned here, and I'm offering what I believe would be a better alternative. So one that saves actually the city some money, protects our existing residents, and creates lasting value for Manor. So last night we've had some really hard rain here, and water couldn't move off our yards fast enough. This is not a new problem. This is a repeating pattern. There is that natural creek that Lasat was talking about that runs directly behind the lots on Moroni Cove, and that creek is already under stress. The preliminary plat before you here tonight shows a 15-foot storm easement proposed on the northern edge of Block G and that floodplain boundary running along the eastern edge of Fetterman Court. Those markers tell you exactly what the engineers already know, that this land is tight. Adding 8 homes and 8 driveways and a new paved cul-de-sac road directly into that drainage corridor will push water onto existing properties that are already struggling to handle it. So we want to be constructive. We don't just want to complain about this here. So I'm asking the Commission to recommend an alternative. We can shift Liberty Bell Boulevard slightly further east, which the right-of-way width can accommodate, and instead of Fetterman Court, designate that corridor as a linear green space. Connecting it through the north to the existing dog park, number 43 here on the map, and south to the parkland area, number 1 on the map, that was indeed already in the floodplain. You would create this continuous green buffer along the creek that protects drainage, gives the residents a trail connection, and it costs the city honestly nothing to acquire because the developer is already required to convey such open space. Overall, this Phase 8 proposes over 100 single-family homes across 34 acres, and the developer recently proposed reducing lot sizes in these areas. Neighbors pushed back on that, the city denied it, and the developer just walked away from the conversation. Tells you what the housing market for this specific location is soft, and if these homes are built and struggle to sell or sell at reduced values, the tax contribution to Manor goes down, not up.
Your time has expired, Dr. Martin.
Appreciate it.
Dr. Rodney.
And Groupville.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Better on this.
Commissioners, Sarah Starkey is here. If you have questions on this, I know we don't usually ask questions during the public hearing, but this will also come back next month, not that fast, for the business items. Do you have any questions of staff you wanted to ask? I will entertain a motion regarding the public hearing.
Do we make a motion if it's still open?
I believe we can make a motion to keep the public hearing open,
Yes, we'd recommend
to move on.
to keep the public hearing open and postpone it to April 8th.
I'd like to make a motion that we keep this agenda item open and postpone it till April 8th.
I have a motion by Commissioner Meyer to keep the public hearing open. Do I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Mendoza seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Motion passes 4-1. All right. Thank you so much. That is it for our public hearings this evening. Thank you all for speaking on that. We will now take up our consent agenda. All the items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the Planning and Zoning Commission and will be acted upon with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless requested by a commissioner or myself. And we'll remove it from that. Item 5 is the only item on the consent agenda. It's consideration, discussion, and possible action on the minutes from the February 11th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission regular session. Commissioners, I believe those were sent to you by Ms. Anne Marie. So I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda item number 5.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pies to approve the consent agenda. Or do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Terry. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Motion passes. All right, item 6. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on a short form final plat for Cottonwood subdivision. That's one lot on 5.65 acres more or less, and being TCAD parcel 236976, also known as 14305 East US Highway 290 in Manor, Texas. LRG Engineering again has a representative here for questions. Staff, you want to address this one more time? This is the medical facility, I believe.
Correct. Yes, this is a one-lot commercial subdivision that recently received a specific use permit for medical offices. This one is under standard subdivision review, which means that you as the municipal authority provide the review comments at certain intervals, 30 or 15 days, and so this would be the 29th day technically, but this is their initial first review, so it was a 30-day review. So in your backup in front of you is our engineer's comments. So on your summary form, you'll see that the staff's recommendation is just to take the direction you're given tonight, and as engineering provided denial comments, staff's recommendation is to deny per engineering comments, and then those comments will be provided to the applicant.
Thank you so much, staff. And commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on this. I believe the engineer comments are they are attached to the public hearing item. Oh, they're not on here.
No, so they're provided after.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
they're
by
in
your
the
action
box.
tonight.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
And I can't believe Pauline's not here. She wrote the whole agenda tonight. All right. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we deny the item referring to staff recommendations.
All right. I have a motion to deny item 6 from Commissioner Meyer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Pies. Any discussion of the motion as I catch up? Any questions? All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries 5-0. Item 7 has been pulled from the agenda, so we'll move on to item 8. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on a short form final plat of a replat of Lot 14, Block F, Phase 2 of Lagos subdivision, being 2 lots on 3.612 acres of land, more or less, and being located near the intersection of FM 973 and Brenham Street in Manor. Staff from Kimley Horn are here in case you have questions. I believe this is also a non-discretionary item.
Yes, this one is concurrent review by development agreement. So through that process, the shot clock times are waived, but it has been approved by engineering, which is why it's before you. So we are recommending approval for this item.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant or staff? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve agenda item number 8.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pies to approve item 8. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion to the motion? No discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. That motion passes 5-0. Item 9 has been postponed per item 4 being left open.
So for item 9, since it's a postponement, would you be able to read it and then make the motion, please?
I will. Item 9 is consideration, discussion, and possible action on a subdivision preliminary plat for Manor Heights phases 7 and 8, being 272 lots on 72.33 acres, more or less, and being on TCAD parcels 248121 and 993489, also known as 13354 and 13358 Old Kimbrough Road in Manor, Texas. This has been recommended for postponement. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to postpone.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pies to postpone item 9. Do I have a second?
Oh, sorry, one quick. Just the specific date. So the next one's
to
April
postpone
8th.
to the April 8th regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Terry. Any discussion of the postponement? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0. This is postponed to April 8th. Final item on tonight's agenda is consideration, discussion, and possible action on a subdivision final plat for the Holly Smith Phase 3, being 135 lots on 41.707 acres, more or less, and being located generally near the southeast intersection of Anderson Road and Ventura Arbor Lane in Manor, Texas. This is part of that favorite neighborhood section that I love the street names of. Staff, what are we talking about here?
Sure. So this is the final phase for Mustang Valley. Honestly, buy more land, but so it's about it's 128 residential lots. So they had done an amendment. You may remember the concept plan and preliminary plat had to come back. Their amendment was significant enough that they had to revise all of their plans, and so the concept plan and preliminary plat have been previously approved. So now the final plat is before you in the revised configuration. So again, it's 128 residential lots, 4 open space lots, a drainage lot, and a public utility lot, and a greenbelt lot. So they have a couple different lot designations within this, but primarily just a extension of the single family subdivision.
They are 60 and 61 foot lots. They're hefty compared to what we see these days. Yeah.
Yes, they're
more of our standard lot.
They have straight zoning for SF2, which is a minimum 60 foot. So at the time of entitlement, they didn't want to spend the time to do a PUD.
To PUD it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why it's so conformed. All right. Yeah, it's literally 60 by 125 all throughout. All right, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on item 10.
I make a motion to approve agenda item number 10.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pies to approve item 10. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Meyer. Any discussion to the motion? No discussion. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0. That concludes the business of the agenda for tonight. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pies to adjourn. A second. Come on, let's second it. Second by Mendoza. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. And I'll say 7:11 p.m. We are standing adjourned. Thank you.